Hello YouTubers and fellow Whovians, and once again welcome to another Doctor Who CD review. This time we shall be taking a look in the final part of the recently released 7th Doctor and Mel Trilogy, which came out during 2015, and this was part of the main monthly range of audios that was released by Big Finish, and it is Terror of the Sontarans. And this story was written by two people. It was written by John Dorney and Dan Starkey, who you may recall plays a few Sontarans in the TV show, and he plays a few Sontarans in a few Big Finish audios as well, including this one, as the story also features Dan Starkey. So his name features quite a lot in this audio. Of course, it features Sylvester McCoy and Bonnie Langford they are the Doctor and companion in this audio. On the left, we have the usual stuff that goes on. We have the logo, we have the face from the title sequence that debuted in 1987, and on the actual main cover art, I really like this cover. I think it's very good. It's sort of like in a mining facility. That's where it's meant to be, and you can see in the, I don't know, you may be able to see in the background, like, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's like a prison cell sort of thing. If you listen to the story, you'll probably understand it a bit better, and you can see it's sort of inside a cave, but on the outside here, you kind of see a Sontaran ship, you know, all those pods, what they use to travel about, and a few sparks flying here and there and everywhere. We've got the 7th Doctor here, again in his season 24 and 25 outfit, but this is based on season 24. We have a few rocks going out of here. Looks so much more realistic than the rocks that we see in this title sequence, I can tell you that for one. And here we have one of the main Sontarans that feature in the story. I really like the look of this Sontaran. I think the way it was made for this cover just looks absolutely fantastic. They look like brutes. They actually look like a threat just on the front cover of this. Even though you can't see them in the story, just looking at this cover, they look like a threat. And they look more threatening than the Sontarans that we get in the modern series, in my opinion. We have this green stuff here. I'm not sure what that's meant to be, whether it's meant to be Sontaran blood or whatever, but I think these rocks, they're supposed to be connected to one of the main bits about the story. So overall, very good cover. I really like it. Big fan of this cover. I think it's excellent. Fortunately, there's a bit of a crack at the bottom of my CD case, but you won't. I don't think you can notice it that badly on camera. If you had it in hand, you would. On the side, again, we have all the usual stuff. What it's all about. This is release 203 in the monthly range. Sylvester McCoy's face at the top. Doctor Who, Terror of the Sontarans, and you have the Big Finish logo at the bottom, and it is a black sleeve as well. And as I said, this was written by John Dorney and Dan Starkey. Again, like We Are the Daleks and The Warehouse, this is 2 hours approx. 4-part story, 4 25-minute episodes, along with a couple of special features on each disc, such as an isolated music score, a next time trailer, which in this case is for Crisscross, starring Colin Baker, and we also have a behind-the-scenes thing at the end. And this was directed by Ken Bentley. Once it was a mining facility, then later its corridors rang with screams generated by grotesque military experiments. However, when the Doctor and Mel arrive on a hostile alien world after detecting a distress signal, the base they find themselves in is almost deserted. But not for long. Soon the Doctor's old enemies, the Sontarans, have landed and are searching for remnants of their previous research team. Before long, they uncover evidence of strange occurrences on the planet, of madness and death. They are warriors bred for war, strong of spirit and unafraid of death. To fear the enemy is an act of betrayal. Nothing holds terror for the Sontarans. Until now. And the cast list, again, cast list is very similar to the amount of people that featured in the warehouse, so not as big as storage like We Are the Daleks, but for what it's worth, again, the cast list very good. It's very good voice actors. And on the inside we have the alternative cover with the 7th Doctor's logo from his era, the TV series. We have disc 1, which contains parts 1 and 2, and disc 2, which contains parts 3 and 4. And just advertisement here, available now, other releases, and they feature releases from the past, from the main range, as well as the lost stories, audios, such as Starlight Robbery, Heroes of Sontar, the first Sontarans. The thing they all have in common, I think they all have the Sontarans in it. The titles kind of give it away. We have Red, We Are the Daleks, and The Warehouse as well. So here they're advertising the previous 2 stories, so you can complete the trilogy. Because if you've not got the previous 2 stories, then I highly recommend you pick those up before listening to this. And here is the next time advertisement, and as we can see, it is for Crisscross, which is release 204 in the main monthly range, and again it's just advertising Doctor Who magazine. Right, now on to my thoughts on Terror of the Sontarans. Again, do I think that this is a good story in this trilogy? Yes, I do. I think, again, this is a very good story. I think John Dorney and Dan Starkey did a good job writing this story. Not to be surprised, really, because John Dorney, he's one of the best writers of Big Finish. He's written some good stories in the past, so he didn't disappoint here. Dan Starkey co-wrote this for whatever reason, probably because he's supposedly the Sontaran expert. I was slightly a bit worried because Dan Starkey is kind of annoying in the new series when he plays characters like Strax. Because for me, in the new series, yeah, we had the Sontaran stratagem and the Poison Sky. That was okay, showing the Sontarans killing people and things like that. But in later stories, the Sontarans, they were just made to look weak and just easy to defeat. And then Strax came along, who was just a comic relief character. The Sontarans were no longer the threat that we saw in the classic TV series. Because, for me, the Sontarans, I love the Sontarans. They're one of the best monsters out of Doctor Who, in my opinion. They're probably the 3rd biggest after the Daleks and Cybermen. And for me, in the classic series, they were just brilliant. Stories like The Time Warrior, Lynx, is like one of the best stories ever made. But I think the audios, as far as they're concerned, they seem to be doing the Sontarans justice, and this audio definitely did the Sontarans a lot of justice. And the 7th Doctor works so well with the Sontarans. It's such a shame that in the original TV run that the 7th Doctor never got to face the Sontarans during his time as a Doctor. But here in audio he does, and that's brilliant. I'm really glad that Big Finish decided to put the 7th Doctor with the Sontarans, and it's the 7th Doctor and Mel game. In terms of it being set during season 24, you can't really tell with this particular story. I say you could kind of tell with the previous one, The Warehouse. which was the previous release in the monthly range, and I think that McCoy, he plays a role really straight in this. He just plays the Seventh Doctor as you'd expect the Seventh Doctor. So he's kind of more like season 25-ish Seventh Doctor, which is a good thing because from Remembrance of the Daleks onwards, the Seventh Doctor really reached new peaks as far as the TV series was concerned. And Mel, Bonnie Langford, she plays the role of Mel very straight as well, to be honest. She does the job. I really like what they've done here with the Doctor and Mel. I'm a really big fan of this, and I'm looking forward to hearing and listening to the Seventh Doctor and Mel again, as they will feature in some more upcoming monthly range stories alongside Sophie Aldred as Ace. So it'll be interesting to see what Big Finish do there. I take it it'll be set during Dragonfire or after Dragonfire. I'm not sure, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, this story, great. The Sontarans are brilliant. Dan Starkey does a good job as Sontarans. There's multiple Sontarans in this story, and you have a few voice actors providing the voices for the Sontarans. They all sound somewhat similar, which does make sense because they are clone race after all. And for me, I think the voice acting for the Sontarans is fine. It's just a group of them. It's not like a grand scale invasion. It's just a small group of them, and there's a nice twist in this story. Terror of the Sontarans, because one of them has become terrified by something. That's right, there's something else in this story, another threat other than the Sontarans, and towards the end of the story, the whole dynamic between the goodies and the Sontarans, it completely changes. Just towards the end, of course the Sontarans are an enemy of the Doctor. They all know who the Doctor is by this point because he's encountered them a few times, if you count TV stories in the past or previous audios. So that's good. I think that the main crew, the main people inside the mining facility, I think they're all pretty good characters. I really do. I sound very repetitive when I keep saying, oh, they're very good characters, etc. And, well, what can I say? They are. They're good voice actors. They do the job. They just get the job done, in my opinion. And I'm happy with that. I don't want over convoluted stuff when you just don't understand what's going on. With this story, I completely understand what's going on. And for me, all 4 episodes of this audio, I completely got. I was enthralled all the way through it from start to finish. And I was even more enthralled than The Warehouse. Even though I do like that story, I did point out in my review of that there was tiny flaws of that. I was kind of drifting out of it between the second and third episodes. There was none of that in this story. I was completely gripped from the beginning to the end. However, that doesn't mean to say that the story has its flaws. There's one particular flaw that annoys me with this story, and I suppose it's not really giving anything away, because you watching this right now, you'll know that Sontarans are in this story, because 1, a Sontaran appears on the front cover, and 2, the title of the story features the word Sontarans. So we all know the Sontarans are in there, so there's not really any spoilers there. But it's the way the first episode pans out. You get a little bit at the very beginning with Sontarans, right? And then for the rest of the episode, you get 7th Doctor and Mel stuff. becoming familiar with the surroundings, like they've just landed in a new place, because that's what happens at the start of nearly every story. They go to a new destination, they become familiar with the surroundings, they notice something is wrong, and we get introduced to all the other supporting characters in this story. The cliffhanger to episode 1 then cuts away to the Sontarans, and you just get a little bit of dialogue spoken by Dan Starkey, something along the lines of, "Oh yeah, we are the Sontarans." It's just to make a statement to listeners. Yes, the Sontarans are here now, and then that's the cliffhanger. For me, that kind of irked me, because I already knew that the Sontarans were going to be in this story. Plus, we got that little bit at the beginning, so the cliffhanger, it wasn't really that big to me, if that makes any sense. A cliffhanger should be shocking, but for me it just fell a bit flat for me, and I was slightly disappointed. But all the other cliffhangers in this story, so the cliffhanger to episode 2 and 3, they're absolutely fine. They're great cliffhangers, but it's just the first cliffhanger I was kind of a bit annoyed about, because I already knew the Sontarans were going to be in this, and I already, you can already see on the front cover. Plus, they feature at the very beginning of the story, so not really big shock. But it's happened in the TV series as well. Stories such as Destiny of the Daleks. We know that the Daleks are going to be in the story, yet they only make their first appearance at the end of the first part of the story. Yet their name is in the title of the story, so you have to. It's just little nitpicky things like that. But apart from that, I think this is a flawless story. I think all around the production values, everything about this story is just amazing. And for that, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. Now, would I recommend Terror of the Sontarans? I would. I think it's a very solid story. Just a little bit that irked me in the first episode, but apart from that, very, very good story. Now, out of the 3, which one do I recommend the most? I recommend this one the most. We Are the Daleks. I think that this is a fantastic audio, great way to introduce you to Big Finish. I think the weakest out of the story, and this is my personal opinion, some will disagree with me, I know. The Warehouse, although it is good, very good, in fact, I didn't think it was the best out of this trilogy, but I did give it an 8 out of 10, so it's up to you really. If you enjoyed We Are the Daleks, then you might want to pick this up. I'll leave that up to you. So, Terror of the Sontarans, great way to close a trilogy. The Sontarans are great in this. They're brilliant. They're just absolutely brilliant. So much better than what we get nowadays with the actual TV show. And the voice acting is very good. And overall, yeah, very good. So the trilogy as a whole, it's a very good trilogy. And, well, I've got all 3 of them. I would personally recommend picking these 3 up if you're a fan of the 7th Doctor, and if you are a fan of Melanie Bush. I know that may be a long shot, because I know a lot of people do not like that character, but for me, this does the character of Mel justice. All 3 of these stories do, and I highly recommend picking them all up, especially We Are the Daleks. Easily the best out of this trilogy of monthly range stories. And that is all for now. Thank you very much for watching my review of Terror of the Sontarans. I hope you're all having a great day, and stay tuned next time.